Welcome to Trash Talk, a podcast by Zero Waste Canada. I'm your host, Alistair McCall. I moved to Canada in 2017 from England, and I've since held a variety of roles in the waste industry, and currently sit on the Zero Waste Canada board. On this podcast, we will dive deep into the world of zero waste and the circular economy, speaking with change makers who are helping to lead us to a more waste-free, sustainable planet. Okay, Trash Talk is back again. We've got some great shows to finish the year off, and starting with this one, yeah. So, who are you, and what's your background in zero waste?
Hi, Alistair. Thanks for having me here. It's a pleasure to be here. So, I'm Shivani Gupta, founder of Eco Brown Essentials. And zero waste for many people might be just a niche area. For me, it's my passion. So I think like I started zero waste or sustainable living unknowingly when I was a child growing up in a home where the waste is never considered as waste. And I started practicing holistic wellness inspired by Ayurveda, which has deepened my understanding on zero waste more and more. And I believe like the things which are good for our body should also be good for planet as well. And that understanding and the belief is deep rooted in sustainable and healthy living.
Awesome. Yeah, and then so you were working in a corporate job, I understand. So, what led to leaving that job and then starting your business? What happened after that point? What was the kind of turning point for you?
So this was during pandemic actually when I really realized that immunity cannot be built overnight, and then when something like pandemic or the covid hits, we are all like running towards healthy living. We are finding the ways how do we support our immunity system more and more, and that reflection of a thought is like a turning point for me. I started thinking that how we can embed this wellness into our daily life, and it shouldn't be something which is we take care of when we require to, but it should be a very much into our daily life. And then that reflection was like all the deep thoughts about healthy and sustainable living, and that's how Ecobron Essential was born. But it was not like very easy thing for me. I was not sure how I would be starting my journey about it's good to have passion, and passion with purpose is even more good, but it's not something like which can be like overnight done. So it was a 15 years in corporate job, and when I
Mm,
quit I wasn't so sure, but I was very sure about the path which I'm going to take, and I was also knowing that it will be challenging, but I'm happy that I started that journey, and I'm also happy that the store which is built in Brampton as Brampton's first refillery is serving its purpose, which I thought while quitting the job.
yeah, you mentioned Brampton there. So the question is why Brampton, first of all, and then second part of the question is what's been the reaction in the community to your business and your store opening up?
Well, Brampton felt like home right from the beginning. When I moved to Brampton, diverse and incredibly welcoming community and the vibrant culture. So it truly felt like home. And then my business journey started actually working close with our community. I started participating in a farmers market in all across GTA, and I was very fortunate to receive the love from our community for our handmade Ayurvedic products and sustainable essential. And honestly, it was surprising. There were days when I would not participate in the market, and people will message me on my social handle asking when I would be next having the booth there. They are looking to buy more. So that was kind of rewarding, and it built a kind of a confidence in me that people definitely need this kind of products more, and it is something which is bringing benefit to them. Like I met a lot of people, they are struggling with the skin issues like psoriasis and eczema. They were looking for actually pure kind of products which can help them with their skin concerns, and it
Mm,
was good to know that it was helping them, and they were more interested when the things were sustainably packed. They were
mm,
giving really nice feedback that we really don't need unnecessary packaging. And
yeah.
I to think like without fancy packing, how the reception of these products would be in the market because people expect label information. So I experimented. I used to give them website for learning more about the products, and I used to tell them this is the website where you can learn more about the products which you are buying, but I don't have unnecessary wrapping and labels. And they were very happily to receive this information through the website rather than getting it wrapped in a beautiful labels and packaging.
Yeah. I'm
Received.
just like curious on that packaging piece. So do you think you've like saved a lot of money from not, buying packaging? There's a cost saving there, right? So you aren't like bringing in packaging, you aren't, paying to package your items. So do you think that's a huge financial saving that you've kind of found there from being more zero waste?
I would say zero waste is not, mainly focused on the saving, but it is more challenging because
Mm,
when you are avoiding the unnecessary packaging, you need to do your research to
yeah.
how do you preserve and keep the product safe from any kind of a contamination. So it was really challenging. More than money, it was challenging for me to have to save my products from getting contaminated. And how do I make sure the safety of people in terms of like when people come they look at the product. So for soaps it were okay, but for like body lotions and the creams, of course we needed packaging. And then going for sustainable packaging, you have fewer options available in the market.
Yeah.
Still we have only glass bottles, and then some of the things cannot be stored in glass bottle because it makes it difficult to ship. So
Mm.
packaging has been a kind of a challenging journey for me to find the uh, packaging which is sustainable, find the packaging which is cost effective, and which would make my products safely reach to my customers.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, so there's kind of different things to think about. So there's the financial piece, but also the quality piece as well, which is important to maintain a strong brand. Yeah, good points. I was going to ask about any growth plans. So you're in Brampton, as you mentioned. Do you have any plans to, expand the store, open up new stores, for example? What's your kind of like target the next, months to years?
So, interestingly, I mean, like, this is the first flagship store here in Brampton,
Yeah,
but I do receive calls from people, when they ask about like this kind of a store should be there in their area, in their community, in their town. They ask about franchisee, that if they can take franchisee and they can open up something like that. So, I'm really open, flexible for that, but I want to have a really solid business plan and a successful financial year before I get into giving anybody franchisee or opening more store. So this is our first year of the store opening, and we are receiving love from all over. People are coming from far off places and different provinces. Today I received a call from Montreal, and
mm,
the guy was like looking at our beard comb, and he said, "I don't find this kind of a product in our province, and then I have to buy online. But I wish we have something like that which is sustainable and healthy both." So it's good to know that people are taking interest, and I hope to see more and more stores like that. But sharing with you, unfortunately, I mean, like in last couple of years I saw more of the stores closing down. They were struggling because of the rising cost of, like, I would say, especially rent. And even in my store there are some of the furnitures which is like from the closed down zero waste stores, and
yeah.
that's all about sustainability, giving it a second life to the things which is already loved. And but I still see that people are taking interest in opening it in the places where it's not. So there are people like me. Brampton did not have it, and then
Yeah.
I wanted to have it where it's not there.
Yeah, yeah, good points. Like I was going to mention that I've been to zero waste stores that are no longer there, which is a
Yeah,
shame for like someone like me who, loves zero waste and I try and
of
practice
course.
it. But yeah, the option to purchase zero waste products, I would yeah seek out, but then those stores haven't made it in some respects. So yeah, it's yeah, a shame to see those stores close down, but then good to see yourself, starting a business and there is demand, like you're saying, across Canada. So hopefully we can see, yeah, more stores come back and make an impact. So it's, yeah, good to see there is that demand you're seeing from provinces that haven't got your products currently. So yeah,
Yeah,
good to know that's a good trend, hopefully, and a good sign for the recovery of zero waste stores. So
of
um,
course.
yeah, I was going to ask about kind of that similar topic. So, your stores are important to move towards more zero waste, like products and so on. But it's mainly grassroots driven right now in communities. So, how do you think zero waste can become more mainstream and we see, bigger, more established global brands, kind of take on learnings from yourself, and like you mentioned, packaging as one example. How can we see it more mainstream, do you think?
So truly said, I mean, it is a still community driven and it is like at the grassroots levels. But I truly believe that, I mean, there are three things which can help us to get into mainstream. That is like awareness and accessibility, and the most important is collaboration. So creating awareness in our community, this is how I started. When I was participating in farmers market, I was actually simultaneously educating people about like how the sustainable choices can help them save money, how this just sustainable and healthy choices can make their lives better. And then if they go chemical free and plastic free, they are not only saving money, but they are adding a lot of value, and they are moving and taking a step towards healthy living also. So that was awareness part. And collaboration is like I am collaborating with many small businesses, organic farms based in Ontario and in Canada. So collaboration plays very important role. Alone we cannot do it all. So it's like more and more collaboration, and then not only in terms of business but in terms of awareness collaboration, working closely with universities, colleges, and then schools, and then creating awareness in young generation. So zero waste should not be the term which an adult should know. It's a term which a 5 year old should know. It should be part of in some or other way their curriculum, their extracurriculum activities or something. So running certain kind of workshop which is engaging for kids have played a really good role. And I could see the change in my own son who has been like growing with me practicing zero waste. So
Yeah.
if they learn it at young age, it makes a lot more difference, in our community. And of course, I can't ignore talking about the financial support. So, running a e-commerce business is challenging, but running a sustainable e-commerce business is more challenging because you need to take care of your supply chain, who is following zero waste practices, not only you. And then people who are the suppliers are more conscious about reducing their own carbon footprints while supplying their products to us. So that was very challenging. And then I wish that government have some more dedicated funding for sustainable e-commerce businesses and support the small businesses, so that people take more interest to open up these stores in every area, in every community in Canada. So we see it more and more accessibility for our community.
Yeah, no, great points there. You mentioned health as well, and I think that that's important in zero waste because people may look at zero waste as like a physical material type like topic, but actually there's a lot of health benefits to zero waste as well. So that's an important kind of topic to bring up there, I think, as zero waste isn't just about reducing what goes to landfill, it's about a kind of like wholesale approach to less waste, and a big part of that is public health. You have a lot of talents, so I want to bring up your book as well. So tell us about what your book's about, where can that they find it as well, and any more writing plans for yourself.
Okay, so this book idea actually it all shaped up. I faced a personal setback last year, and at that time, I wanted to completely engage myself with something constructive, something positive, and then I always wanted to write a book, but was not getting enough time. So my book, Ayurveda Recipes for Holistic Wellness and Zero Waste Living, it started in last year, and I'm grateful that it is Amazon bestseller now. and I'm a local author, so it is recognized and available in Brampton's library. And writing actually is sharing your experience. So what I have learned so far in the space of holistic wellness and zero waste living, and it goes hand in hand. Like healthy living and sustainable living is not two separate things. When you start a first step towards sustainable living, you will soon realize that the things which are plastic free are also chemical free mostly. The
Mm.
things which are chemical free will also be like plastic free in some or other way, because one conscious will lead to the another conscious step. Like I started with holistic wellness, but I could not ignore the fact that plastic waste is a important point. So when I have to start something, it shouldn't be just chemical free, it should be plastic free. So it all goes hand in hand. So the book is all about holistic wellness, that is about living healthy and sustainability, and how the small simple steps can help us all living that life.
Yeah, I think it all starts with kind of simple kind of steps like you're saying, like doing something small to start with, and then kind of it kind of snowballs, right? So yeah, myself, I started living more sustainably, like more zero waste, and then it kind of cascades into a bigger topic, and then you kind of
Yeah.
realize and learn about new things and yeah, take on new things in your like daily life and routine and so on that you weren't doing before. And it all adds up to yeah, feeling better and you're doing the right thing for the planet essentially. So yeah, it's good to know there's books out there people can refer to and learn from. So yeah, thanks for sharing that. Okay, closing off. So mentioned before about expansion possibly and getting phone calls from people. So what would your advice be to anyone looking to start a zero waste store themselves?
I would say to start with asking yourself your why, because this is not something which would be like it will come to you in a very different kind of a motivation. It would be like your self motivation. So asking yourself the purpose, the why, and if you know your why, your most of the journey is like covered. You would just stay motivated, and I would say that zero waste is again not a destination, it's a journey. It's a lot of learning along the way, and it's not about doing something perfectly well. It is about taking small steps which could be like involving a lot of learning and could be imperfect, but it would keep on evolving. And I believe like it should continue, and then not giving up attitude. So people who are taking their first step should be very confident that it is going to let them to some better place, and they are helping even our community to leave the space better for the future generations. So I think self motivation and your why plays really integral part.
Yeah, good advice. I think, yeah, hopefully we can see, yeah, more zero waste stores coming up like yours. You're doing well, obviously, so it's great to see an example of where it's effective. So yeah, hopefully we can see yeah, bigger trends of zero waste stores being successful, which there's demand, which you were saying earlier. So awesome. Thanks for your time, Shivani. Great to speak to you and learn about your kind of store and your book and your many talents. So thanks
Thank you
again
so much,
for yeah.
Ashish, for having me. It was really nice speaking with you and sharing my journey. And in fact, it was even good to learn from you in many ways, like your experience and then what you shared in zero waste space is like, it's good. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.